Well, the Marine wanted for the murder of a pregnant colleague is still a fugitive, believed now to be in Mexico. North Carolina prosecutors now making a deal to take the death penalty off the table in the case if Corporal CESAR LAUREAN is captured in Mexico and extradited back here. That is because Mexico, which does not have or believe in the death penalty, will not send anyone back to the United States if they might face execution. Yesterday, an indictment was announced charging the missing Marine with the murder of Lance Corporal Maria Louderback, whose remains were found in his backyard.
Which takes us to BYA because you asked the following from Jerry in Nashville, Tennessee. Jerry writes the following and wants to know, since CESAR Armando LAUREAN is in the military, why is it the military cannot simply bring him back to the U.S. since he's AWOL? Problem solved with charges and no compromises with Mexico. Well, not so fast. Gwendolyn Lindsay Jackson, a former military prosecutor and current JAG in the U.S. Army Reserve, our guest now to try and answer this. Good morning to you, Gwendolyn. Nice to have you on today.
Good morning.
I hear your voice now. Can you do this?
Yes, I can. I can do this. I can answer this question for you. But, you know, it's not that simple. You cannot send the Marines in and invade a foreign sovereign nation without a military purpose. You just can't do that. It just would not wash. The criminal case is being handled by the civilian authorities, and that's where jurisdiction rests. So,
what do you make of the decision of the Marines tell the town of Jacksonville, North Carolina, if you bring him back, if you arrest him, we won't put him up for the death penalty? Does that help you extradite him out of Mexico?
Well, you know what? That deal that was struck is something that the prosecutor struck with the Mexican authorities based on the treaty that we signed. He's simply providing the assurances to bring him back. That is a requirement. He had to strike that deal. Under the treaty that we signed, by the way, in 1978, the extradition treaty between the United States and Mexico, that is definitely something Mexico or the United States could exercise with respect to criminals that are apprehended and face extradition either way.
The point is, now, from a legal standpoint, does it increase your chances of bringing him back to North Carolina if you can find him?
It does increase the chances if Mexico acts on the up and up. Because you've got to think about this. Mexico says, according to the treaty, you've got to provide the assurances, okay, that the death penalty is not going to be sought. However, you've got to be careful because Mexico has several case laws which interpret what assurances are. In 2001, they were sort of interpreting it to state that you have to have a judge provide those assurances, and we know in our country we don't have that. Judge cannot rule on a case before the trial is complete.